welcome to the first episode of the Coach's Corner TV, and today I have with me Jay Rohde. Jay, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Coach. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm just really excited to be kicking this off. This is an extreme passion of mine to be able to interview all kinds of experts, athletes, parents, and coaches from all over the world, really, and just really kind of learn, grow, and share all kinds of information for people out there that are really enthused about youth sports and the direction of the game. So, Jay, to kick it off, tell me a little bit about you specifically and your sports experience.
Basically, my sports experience as a youngster, I played hockey, I played little league football, and things like that. So it was a little bit of organized sports, and I played some baseball too. But my main love was hockey, and hockey's always been my favorite sport, and it's basically made me who I am today as a human being, shaped me, and helped me deal with certain situations in life that still ring true today. And I started playing youth hockey when I was 10 years old, and I'm 44 now, and even when I stopped playing hockey for a while and I stopped playing sports, for one reason or another, my passion for the game and having it shape my life and shape my attitude, of dealing with certain situations, whether it being working, whether it being, anything that you can't control. You always want to try to do things that are not in your control. And I can credit my success to just basically controlling what I know I can control. If it's out of my control, I'm not going to worry about it. I can't lose focus on what is in front of me. And, it's basically made me who I am today, and I can't thank the sport of hockey enough.
Okay, was there a specific coach or specific influence that might have influenced you to kind of set you down that path? Obviously, sports can do a lot of good things for young athletes, but also can do a lot of bad. Tell us a little bit about some of those influences that you had along the way that might have helped develop who you are today.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because the one coach that I can remember in my youth wasn't even a hockey coach. It was my little league football coach when I played for the west side of Buffalo. They had a little league football team, and his name was Dr. Richard Murato. And he preached discipline, he preached schoolwork. Put it this way, he had a hookup where your grades had to be up to even think about coming to practice. And he was involved with the parenting, he was involved with the parents, and in turn of that, we knew he was a special man, and he basically taught us discipline and sportsmanship. And you don't have to talk before you get on. You don't have to talk before the game. You let your play do the talking. And other than that, it was more of a fatherly figure at times than a coach. But he was my little league football coach, and like I said, he was a great man, and he taught us really a lot about life. And we were 13, 14, 15-year-old kids, and we're just getting ready to go into high school, and some of us, and he was a great man, and
So what was that communication style like? Many coaches have different communication styles. Some are very good at building one-on-one relationships, really tailoring their communication style to the individual player, while others are more, I'm going to kind of speak to the group in everything I do, and there's really not a lot of one-on-one relationship. What was that like for you?
Actually, it was really good for me, because it was more of a structured environment. And a lot of the guys that were on my team, I can't speak for them, but as for me, I thrived on the structured environment. Like, if we had 15 minutes of calisthenics, or we had 15 minutes of doing laps, or we had we knew what we had to do, and instead of complaining about it, we just went ahead and did it. And I think it was more of a, I'm not going to say military, like boot camp, but it was the structured environment. I think that's really what's missing today, is the structured environment. It just seems like kids nowadays, they lose track and they lose focus more than anything, I think. But I think for me, sports for me in general kept me, in the game of life. So as for that,
that's great. That's phenomenal. You mentioned the game of life, and the realities. I know, with my passion for sports, you'd really hope that every child who plays sports would really get the full benefit of a coach who can really focus on developing life skills. And you talk about the game of life. It's such a wonderful avenue, and it's not the only avenue. There's multiple. Some could be music, some would be sports, but really to really have a coach that can really take, whether it be winning, whether it be losing, taking those different situations that will come along, whether it be growing in communication, and really present those life skills in the game that can in turn turn it into the game of life, which you've mentioned.
Yeah.
Jay, tell me a little bit about how involved were your parents in your youth sports experience, when you were younger?
Pardon me, Coach?
What's that?
Can you hear me? Can you tell me that again? Well, my mother and father, basically, it's sad to say that my mother and father got divorced when I was a young boy. I believe I was 10 years old. My dad was basically there for maybe my first year of Little League football. Other than that, when the divorce happened, my mother basically couldn't afford, for me to play football anymore. And, I tried baseball. That's when I tried playing baseball. And then I got a paper route. And then once I got a paper route, I decided I wanted to play hockey. So when that happened, my mother was very supportive, because she knew that, when I got out of school, I was in the backyard with the hockey stick, and and my friends would always come over, and we would always have street hockey games and stuff like that. So she was very supportive in that I enjoyed the game, and every time there was a hockey game on TV, she let me have the TV. So I'm very grateful for her to her for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She encouraged me to enjoy the game and play hard and stay focused. Sometimes there's, it was the disappointment that the disappointing of not, sometimes winning and losing, not knowing how to lose, or not knowing how to win and lose. Sometimes can spoil the fun, but my mother was very supportive.
That's awesome.
When I played sports.
That's awesome, Jay. I really appreciate you, sharing and being real and transparent. That's one of the things that we really want to get out of this show, and really, really share the reality of these situations. I mean, you talk about, divorce, your father not being around. That's a very real situation a lot of youth today are really dealing with. And I think something that coaches need to be aware of, that's such an important role, and the influence that you play in the development of youth today are huge. And I think for your mother specifically, she was probably really hoping, by the sounds of it, that you would have that, call it what you may, but coaches can be a lot of things, whether it be a fatherly figure, whether it be a friend. There's so many roles that a coach can play in a kid's life, and you have the ability to either build a youth up or tear them down. And it sounds like you had that great experience.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate?
Oh, that's you hit the bullseye on that one. I just can't tell you really how much the world of sports and the passion and the glory and to seeing the the highest of the highs and to seeing the lowest of the lows, and to have those experiences myself. When I was younger, I didn't get I wasn't that athletic, and a lot of the times when I played football or I played baseball, I had to make up what I was lacking in skill. I had to make up for passion and hustle and heart. And sometimes I didn't know where to get that from, because I didn't have my father. I didn't have anybody teaching me what that means. How to play with heart and how to. I basically had to learn that on my own. But to this day, for everything that I've succeeded, to now, you can ask any of the players that I've ever played with, from coast to coast, that they'll say that if there's anybody they want on the bench, they pick me every time. And it's not because I'm a superstar. It's what I bring to the team. And basically, when you believe in the team and you're passionate about being, having that strong will, knowing, okay, I don't have the talent, I don't have as much talent as these guys, but you know what? I can play with them, and I'm going to figure out how to do it, and I'm going to stay on it. And if you just stay true to the game, if you give yourself to the game will definitely get back to you. And and you definitely the whole life aspect, things will come around, and things will happen for the better. I'm living proof of that.
That's phenomenal advice, and I can relate in so many ways, because I think a lot of times it's important to be real, and for most people that know me, I've been playing a long time, but I too wasn't never the best player on the team. It wasn't I didn't really lead because I was that guy that was either the best goalie or the best goal scorer. But one thing for sure is that like you, I found a way. I had such a passion to play, and just being involved in the sport really motivated me. So I everyone's a little different, and I think with youth sports specifically, I think many a times there's so much focus put on winning and losing, and less on having fun, on building those relationships, on really driving the importance of the entire sports experience. I mean, winning is just really the object of the game, right? Somebody goes out there to win, and somebody's got to lose. But the reality is that, to me, it's not what you go out there to do. And so it's just interesting, and I think it's important for youth out there that might be watching this show or listening, that it's extremely important to really just embrace the experience. And really, take it in. Even the challenges of not playing all the time, or there are lessons to be learned. And my advice to coaches out there really is, take those opportunities to really build people up and make them understand the process. And that's really critical. Yeah,
it's funny that you say that, because now. My latest success, since I started playing puck hockey, inline puck hockey in Buffalo here, when I was 37 or 38 years old. I'm 44 now, and I've always had the confidence. I'm like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to listen to the guys that are always going to say, "Oh, you're not good enough to be on a team," or "You're not good enough," or this and that. And I always knew that. If I stay focused, I know I can, I'm not going to listen to the haters, if you want to say the haters.
The haterade, huh?
Drinking the haterade. And once I started making these teams, like tournament teams, I made the Buffalo Fusion, the AIHL, and I recently was selected to the Buffalo Steel tournament team. I was never the starter on any of these teams. I was the backup goalie. Unless it's a recreational team or maybe a single tournament team that's going. Other than that, I've always been the backup goalie. I've had playing time, but I've always been the backup goalie. And a lot of guys that don't get that experience of traveling with a team and being in the hotel room and and going to and traveling to the rink together and being in the locker room. If you're not a hockey player, you're never going to understand. A lot of the guys say, you know, why do you bother playing with these teams? You don't get to play. Well, they don't understand. Whether I play or not, that's not important. You know, case in point, 4 years ago, I went with Buffalo, my first tournament ever. I was 40 years old. My first tournament ever, I went with the Buffalo Wings organization to Detroit, and I played in the Masters Division. I was the only goalie. We had no backup. I was the only goalie. It was the first tournament ever, and I played with guys that have played in tournaments, and I just never knew what it entails or what the experience is like. So when I went there, I soaked in everything. I mean, the different teams, the banners, all these hockey companies, all the young kids, the 6-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the people, the passion. I just fed off everything, and I almost forgot about that I was a goalie for a team that was playing in this tournament. I was so enthralled with the situation that I couldn't get enough of it, and we ended up getting our rear ends handed to us. But it was the experience that I took in, and I took that passion and that experience, and I fed off of that. And 3 years later, I'm a regional championship. I'm a regional champion with the Buffalo Fusion. I just won a national championship with the Buffalo Fusion, and now I'm a member of the Buffalo Steel organization. I won a bronze medal at Torres just a couple years ago with a team from New York City. Oh, that was an experience in itself. I got a chance through my friends in the AIHL and through friends on Facebook and basically the sport of hockey. All in all, I got a chance to play with a team called the Tour Roadrunners. His name is Vio. He runs them. I'm sure you know Vio.
Oh, yeah.
He said, hey, I heard a lot of good things about you. I'm putting a team together. Would you like to be my goalie? And I was flattered. And I drove to Detroit. I met him. I met the team. And I met friends. I met some new friends through the sport of hockey. And I walked out of there with a bronze medal. It was the most gratifying experience of my life. And so if I could just tell the kids one thing, first of all, just feel the passion for the sport. You don't have to be the all-star. You definitely don't have to be the all-star. Just will yourself to want to be a part of the team. And knowing that as good as you want to be, you can't get there without those other 9 guys or 10 guys. And if you put the passion in the sport, it's going to get back to you. I can promise you that. And I'm living proof.
Well, that's awesome, Jay. And I got to tell you that from my involvement, obviously we met when I was heavily involved in the American Inline Hockey League, and it was great to meet you. And one thing that specifically stuck out, and we've been talking for months about how I really wanted to get you on the show once I got things kicked off, and I feel extremely honored to start out with you because you've inspired me, and in my life, because guys like you just really stand out, and because a lot of times everyone's just into all the hunky mush and I'm this and I'm that, but you know what? To be able to be present and to really have a passion for the game and to just really accept your role. And be persistent through it and persevere. That just says a lot to me, and I'd say that most kids would ever hear this interview that hope that someday, if you have any interest in coaching, it would be a great field to really be able to show kids that you don't always got to be the best player. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the experience.
Yeah, I definitely have. I definitely have enjoyed every bit of what I've been through already, through winning and losing. Just the other day, I had a recreational game. We shouldn't even been on the same floor with this team. The game was tied 5-5. We took a bad penalty. and the other team scored on me with 2 seconds left to go in the game. We lost. And, but you know what? Every one of my guys, I didn't say anything about the loss. We were in the game. We had to get, we were with them the whole time. And we know we can play like this, so next week when we play, we can play that much better. So, I mean, even though we lost, we fed off the energy of the game, knowing that, hey, we were in it the whole time, and, we'll get at them next week. So, it's the winning and losing. It's not about the experience of it all. And being a part of the team is what does it for me. So.
All right, Jay, before we end, give me one youth sports highlight when you were younger. What's something that is just memorable that really kind of sticks with you as you grew up? That's always kind of been with you.
One sports highlight. As a youngster, I gotta say when I played Little Loop football. I played linebacker. We were winning the game. I think I was definitely second string, and I think we were winning the game by like 30 points. And I basically got a fumble. I recovered a fumble, and I ran 90 yards. I think I was 11 years old, and I basically rode the bench the whole year. I hardly got any playing time at all. I think I had maybe a couple of grass stains on my jersey. That was it for the whole year. But I'll never forget it. The guy was basically a pitch out. The kid grabbed the ball, and as he looked up, he didn't have control of the ball, and one of my guys hit him, and the ball was fumbled, and I ran and picked it up, and I stood there for a second. I looked at everybody, and everybody started chasing me, and when I realized I had the ball and I had to start running, I ran 90 yards all the way for a touchdown, and we didn't need it, but I still, I still think about that day. That I'm 44 years old, and I still think about it. And the way that I was approached after that, the kids, it was just the most exciting thing ever. So that's that would have to be it. I was probably 11 or 12 years old. I think I was just before my 12th birthday.
Awesome.
And as a matter of fact, I still have the football. So if I get another interview somewhere down the line, I'll go find the football and I'll show it to you.
That's awesome, Jay. I really, on behalf of the Coaches Corner.tv, I really want to thank you for taking some time. I'm really excited to get this kicked off. Couldn't think of a better way to get it kicked off with a humble
this is awesome.
guy like you, who I think has a lot of really good experiences that you really can pour into to youth or share with coaches of today. Thank you very much, Jay, and look forward to having you on maybe in the future.
Excellent.